Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage, and we are working on Dad's Daily, the 47 Ford that we are putting together for my dad to drive daily in the summertime when he is up here in Pennsylvania. We are working on this car. Finally, we got it on the lift. Last video we showed you all the sins that we uncovered. Now it's time to start working on this thing. So we're kind of going to just start from the front and work our way back. We're not doing a full-on restoration where we're going to go crazy and take the body off and do all this stuff. I think we can kind of repair the thing as it sits and just make it a decent drivable car. So first thing we're going to attack is the front suspension. Like any of these cars, I need them to sit right. So we have Andy Kohler Custom. He's dropping an axle for us as we speak, and we might as well get started on dropping the old axle out, getting it blown apart, and getting everything prepped and ready for the new axle. And then when we put it back together, we'll be, dropping the spindles and all that stuff. Normal stuff, bread and butter. You've seen us do it 100 times, but we do it on every car. So we're gonna work on getting this axle dropped down and everything blown apart, yeah, see where we can, how much it fights us. So we got the rear out from underneath the car, and we got to break everything apart. We've done this a bunch of times in videos, so we're not going to get super in depth in this video. What I did want to show you guys is this is a 46 to 48 front axle, and these are a little bit different. There's a couple things that are different on these. So number one, what you'll notice is the wishbones actually have a Z in them, or a step in them from the factory. So these are desirable in the hot rod world for doing drop axles and stuff like that. They are desirable, but this is what they came on. This is what they look like, and we're gonna keep it just like this. This car also has cross steer, which we're gonna continue to utilize. So we're gonna keep that link there. Usually on side steer cars, we cut this link off of the spindle, but we're not doing that this time. And it has these kind of specific perches here that hold not only the shock links, but it also holds the links for the sway bar, panhard bar, whatever you want to call it, stuff that's on the front here. So we need to keep those because they are specific to this front end. And of course it has the spring in front versus spring over, which is many years before they had that. So really we're going to be keeping 90% of this. It's really just the axle that we're replacing, but we need to get the wheels and the brakes and all that stuff apart, and of course see how all these perch pins and everything blow apart. We will see. We're probably going to take a few springs out of here depending on how we want this thing to sit. We'll dial it in with the drop axle and the leaf pack to get it sitting just how we want. So we're going to do the dirty job that we do all the time, taking the front axle apart.
pit stop.
Oh. Everything was full and slam. I'll add these. Actually, the Kingpins. I think yours is the one that has a stuck drum, so it may take a little bit.
Has a stuck cap too, apparently.
So I have the secret touch. Give it the easy one I can. Still struggling over there?
Yes. Maybe your whole drum off right?
Oh yeah, okay. It's alright, son.
You got the nice pair of channel locks that go extra wide.
What do you mean? I got the smaller ones. You got the. I gave you the nice ones on purpose. I figured you had a disadvantage, being a noob.
Alright, where do you want me to tap on this? I don't want to break the drum.
Let me just get this. Oh, baby!
Is that all 4 of them?
Yeah. Don't worry, that side will suck.
Oh, don't worry. Matt's got his whole side apart and I haven't even gotten the drum off yet.
Man, if I didn't have to film, I would be very productive. Put the pry bar right here, just with light pressure. Not real heavy. Yeah, just like that. Move down a little bit, yeah. Goes, yeah.
Yep.
Now we're breaking the ridge. It's over here now. Same thing. It's just all the rust that's stuck on
Oh,
it.
there it is.
Yep. The shoes are fine, it's just it's got, oh.
That nut's still on there.
Yeah, it gets all that rust on the
Contact
shoes.
surface.
Yeah, and it just gets glued. So if you just keep hammering and working it, that one wasn't too bad. I've had them all way worse. Step. Yeah, let's put these back on. All right, so we got the drums off. A couple little things you saw. This drum that Mike was working on was stuck. And a lot of these drums, like looking at this front end in this car, it wasn't stored outside for a real long time. It just sat for a long time. And the condensation that builds up on the brakes, if the brakes were adjusted fairly tight, as they should be on these early Fords because the brakes suck, there doesn't leave much of an air gap for the brakes to for condensation or rust to build up, and then basically the rust will bind itself to the brake shoes, and that's what causes the problem when you can't get a wheel to spin or if a wheel is hard to turn like this one was. So basically what we did is we just tapped around the drum with a hammer lightly, and we saw all the crap falling out of the bottom of it, which told us we were on the right path. And then we slowly worked with a pry bar, tapping around the drum and working it along, and then eventually we got it kind of slid past that ridge and the thing just came off. So that's just, don't always wreck the drums right away. Sometimes you can save them like that. This thing has brand new brake shoes in it. So really we can just clean everything up, clean up the drum, and it'll be good to use again. The other thing to notice on this front end that is, I've come across it before, a lot of these cars, especially if it's an old street rod or hot rod or something like that, the Kingpins were probably done at some point in its life. And if they were done, a lot of times these cars weren't driven a lot. So the Kingpin bushings may not be bad in your axle. I've replaced them in cars that have been sitting for a real long time, like the Coupe. That sat outside for a very long time and they were rusted and they were pitted and the bushings were just all junk. So with this car though, it sat inside and the bushings are like super tight. There's like basically no play. Any tiny little bit of play that's in here is probably just a small little bit of play that's from the shims that were shoved underneath of there. There might be a tiny bit of play, but there is no more play in this than somebody that just set up their Kingpins brand new and redid their bushings and everything. So on this car, we're lucky we can just knock the Kingpins out, clean everything up, put them back together, and that saves us a step, which is really good on this. So we're going to work on taking the locking pins out, knock them out, knock the Kingpin bushings out, and we're ready to take the spring apart. And then we have the not fun part of trying to get these perches out, which is always the wild card. So we'll see what happens.
Nice. It's in pretty good shape.
Does have no shims in it?
Did not have a
No,
bearing?
no.
Oh, the bearing's stuck.
Shims might be down there. I don't know. I don't see any shims. That's hard to believe. It's that tight with no shims. Oh no,
No, there they are. They're on
So
the
just
bottom.
drop it. Back down through.
Oh, it's the felt there, I think.
Just leave it on there. It's stuck.
Same thing, shims are on the bottom. Aren't they supposed to go on the top?
I don't think it really matters, to be honest. It just shims. It doesn't. I don't think it. I put them on the top a lot of times because it's easier to fish everything.
They're like really nice.
Give it a try.
Spring did not explode in our face. There's no bolt, not clamp on the end, right? The spring clamp.
Yeah, correct. It was already missing. Somebody already did the hard work for us when they had this. If anything, I wonder if they put more leaves in this thing to like make it stiffer. Maybe like, oh, we're putting a heavier engine in here.
We need more.
I think I'm out of C-clamp. So we're just gonna have to do the explosion. That's basically loose. What? What are you scared of? It's only dangerous if you don't know what's gonna happen.
That's great YouTube. Perfect.
Oh my God, there's a lot of leaves on this thing.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Not the bottom one. Ooh. Whoa, nice. All right. Move it right along. Keep that foot down.
All right.
Now for the grand finale.
The old flip-a-doodie.
Move it out as far as you can. That's probably about it. And then you need.
Hey guys, Mike here. This Sunday, January 31st, Matt is going to be going live from the shop for a live Sunday service, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to join in and ask all of your questions, and he will be showing some updates on some of the projects throughout the shop. Also, this year for 2021, every month we are going to be going live the last Sunday of every month, so be sure to mark it on your calendars and join us on the last Sunday of every month of this year. Nice.
Yeah, when you get it right, it's just like, whoop, falls right out.
Barely, I probably didn't even need an air chisel. I probably could have tackled him out with a hammer.
Still hot.
Yep.
There you go. So where we're going, we don't need bump stops. These later cars, they started putting all this like newfangled
Sway bars, drag links,
drag links. We're trying to like be low and look cool. We don't need stupid bump stops. Bump stops are for girls. But yeah, we're gonna slam this thing, so it's definitely not gonna need.
Nope.
And if there's any room to put one back in, we will put it on. But
Don't lie to yourself.
yeah, we're not putting it back on. All right. Here, I'm gonna hold the wrench. See if we can grab on that. Just don't smash me in the face, please.
Come on.
In there. Step one, take all the crap you don't need off. There you go, one down. Oh, it's a square nut, that's why. All right, so we had a lot of people commenting in the video where I incorrectly said that this had a FMX transmission in it. I'm totally oblivious to this stuff. While my dad was playing with these engines and transmissions, I was riding my bicycle. I don't know. I never paid attention to this stuff. But Carl, what I was doing was reciting Carl's notes that he had given for me for this car. The more we talk about it, the more I think that maybe some of this stuff was already done to this car, and Carl and his brother kind of started as an abandoned project. I'm not sure, but it does in fact have the aluminum case, which some people mentioned in the comments about it being a C4. And we just ran the numbers. We cleaned the tag off here, and it has a PEE-AC2 code, which is, what is it, Mike?
71 Mustang bolted to a 302.
Yeah, so the 302 part is what Carl told us, but he was saying it was out of something else. Maybe this engine and trans was in a what did he say, a Galaxy or something?
Galaxy, yeah.
But, so now we know that this is a C4. Not that it really matters a lot, just for getting parts and different stuff, and you know, getting a shifter and all that kind of stuff for it. We now know what to order, what to get. So good, now we can get under here and start exploring some of this. We also noticed that there is a nice drain plug threaded into a rag down here, so we got some parts definitely to get for this thing.
We need a dipstick.
Need a dipstick, but front suspension is out of the car. It's all prepped and ready to go. Andy Kohler has the axle, he just got it dropped actually while we were heating and taking the axle apart. Andy was heating and dropping our new axle, so he's got that done. We got the underground parts railroad where my buddy Brett lives up there. He's gonna bring that down to me, and we should be able to get this moving. So I'm gonna order some parts, and then we're gonna try and get the front axle and everything all back together here for the next video and get it sat down in the front, and then we will again start working our way back. We got the old Yankee reverse side rear spring, so depending on how things go, we may just do that rear spring while we're on the suspension and get it sitting right. We may just do that to get rolling, but I have a lot of parts to clean up and get detailed and ready to go for going back together in our next video. So thank you guys for watching. I'm really excited on this. I know my dad's super excited. He's been in my dad's kind of low-key way, asking me about the car pretty regularly or periodically every time we talk, so I think he's pretty excited to drive it and also dig in when he gets up here, and I'm excited to get this thing back on the road. So we're going to keep picking away at it, and hopefully in the spring or early summer we should have this thing roadworthy. So thank you guys for watching. Catch you later.